We're getting the facts for you now about President Trump saying his administration is willing to accept a plane from Qatar's royal family. The value of that plane is estimated to be at $400 million. There's also experts say the taxpayer cost of retrofitting that plane with top secret technology and safety features to make it usable as Air Force One, as would be the plan. That is estimated at up to $1 billion. Lou Jacobson from PolitiFact joins us now. So, Lou, the luxury Boeing 747-8 jumbo jet would be used as the new Air Force One while President Trump is still president, and then this plane would go to his presidential library after his term ends. Now, all this has led to some backlash, even among some Republicans, not just about the price tag per se, but also about what may be the constitutionality of this. So, you've been talking to legal experts. What are they saying about this?
Yeah, so first I should mention that the deal is not final yet, so we don't know if it's going to go through. Assuming the president does pursue this, legal experts told us that accepting the gift would violate the Constitution, which says no person holding any office of profit or trust shall, without the consent of Congress, accept any present emolument, office, or title from a king, prince, or foreign state. Now, this clause, according to the experts I spoke to, was designed to keep foreign nations from gaining undue influence on the U.S. We did hear some diverging views on whether the gift would qualify as a bribe specifically, but we did find wide agreement that it would be seen as corrupt or trying to buy influence with Trump.
So if that prevailing view of the legal community is in fact right, that accepting this gift would at the very least be unconstitutional without the consent of Congress, is there any likelihood that anybody would actually be able to stop this thing or try to?
Yeah, so I mean, right now the reporting is that the Attorney General Pam Bondi has signed off on this being okay. Even if the Justice Department under her were to have a change of heart on the substance of that matter, it's still a longstanding rule that the department wouldn't prosecute a sitting president. Then turning to the judicial branch, critics could sue in court to stop it, but they tried similar kinds of lawsuits during Trump's first term for different things. And the track record of these first-term lawsuits is not really too promising in terms of what they might bring this time. Finally, there's Congress, the third branch, but the GOP controls both chambers, and there seems to be little desire in the GOP caucuses to take on Trump over this issue, even though there has been some scattered verbal criticism from a few Republican members, and certainly from Democrats, but the Democrats aren't in control.
All right, Lou Jacobson, we'll be watching this. I did see some experts saying, even if the plane was accepted today, this could be years away because of all the retrofitting. So we'll keep watching it. Lou, thank you.
Thank you.